A seismic diplomatic shock has erupted as Donald Trump's closest political enforcer, JD Vance, publicly exposed what he describes as a dangerous experiment now gripping Great Britain. According to Vance, the United Kingdom has crossed a line, transforming itself into a state where online speech is no longer free, but tightly controlled. Prime Minister Keir Starmer pushed back, insisting that free expression still exists in Britain and that the issue has nothing to do with the United States. But that response only raised a more troubling question. Why has the second most powerful figure in Washington openly targeted the British Prime Minister? And why did JD Vance go as far as accusing the UK of becoming a country governed by digital authoritarianism? At the center of the conflict is Britain's controversial Online Safety Act. Starmer argues the law is essential to protect children and public safety. Critics argue it has legalized mass censorship. Vance's warning was blunt. He claims Britain's digital policies now threaten American interests directly. Billions of dollars are at stake. Under the law, U.S. tech companies like Google and X face fines of up to 10% of global revenue if they fail to comply with content removal demands. For the U.S. economy, analysts warn this could translate into tens of billions in losses. Critics say the policy resembles something out of a dystopian novel, with elite enforcement units monitoring online speech and citizens facing prosecution for social media posts. Starmer maintains that Britain remains a free society, but reports continue to emerge of individuals receiving severe penalties for online expression, sometimes harsher than sentences given to violent offenders. In Washington, JD Vance is widely seen as Donald Trump's unfiltered voice. While the president observes diplomatic restraint, his vice president does not. To Vance, Starmer is not a partner, but a symbol of the same progressive ideology Trump's movement was built to confront. The message from Washington is unmistakable. Unless Britain reverses course, the special relationship is at risk. And this conflict is no longer rhetorical. It has become economic. President Trump has signaled readiness to deploy aggressive trade measures, including sweeping tariffs that could devastate key British industries. A proposed 20% tariff on pharmaceutical exports would strike one of the UK's most valuable sectors, wiping out margins and handing global advantage to American competitors. Automotive manufacturing is also under threat. A 15% levy on British vehicles sold in the US could cost the industry billions annually, at a time when energy costs are already crippling producers. Agriculture is next. Potential duties on Scotch whiskey and Scottish salmon would hit rural economies hard. Even financial services are in the crosshairs. A proposed digital services tariff could impose a 10% levy on British firms operating in New York, a scenario bankers describe as catastrophic. The strategy appears coordinated. Vance applies ideological pressure. Trump prepares economic force. Together, the approach amounts to economic containment. From Washington's perspective, Britain must choose: change its digital policies or face sustained economic pressure. Markets are already reacting. Investors see rising risk, growing isolation, and a government with limited leverage. Inside the UK, the response is divided. Supporters of Starmer dismiss the criticism as foreign interference. Others argue that JD Vance is voicing concerns shared quietly by many British citizens, that the country is losing control of its borders, its speech, and its direction. In Washington, Starmer is no longer viewed as a reliable ally. He is seen as a symbol of managed decline, the very concept the Trump movement rejects. This is not negotiation. It is a standoff. And for the first time in decades, the future of the US-UK relationship hangs in the balance. The era of polite diplomacy is over. The clock is ticking, and Downing Street is running out of options.